couple days, 3 days into roster cutdowns. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you belong here on this team?
Obviously, I think overall as a player, I feel like I put in the work. I feel like everything I do, I try to do it to my best, and that's all I ask for. So I feel like everybody feels like they should be on the team. And if you ask anybody on the team, would they feel like they belong? They belong, in their own eyes. So I feel like I do, but I'm my own player.
Shedeur Sanders has a cannon for an arm and a future that looks paved with gold. He's a projected first-round NFL draft pick, a Heisman Trophy contender, and the face of one of the most talked-about programs in college football history. But behind the highlight reels and the million-dollar smile, a civil war is brewing, and Shedeur himself is the one lighting the matches. He's not just battling opponents on the field, he's publicly attacking his own former teammates, creating a storm of controversy that has NFL scouts raising major red flags. This isn't just a story about a confident quarterback. It's about a program on the edge, a reputation in flames, and a career that could be sabotaged from the inside out before it ever truly begins. The prime effect was supposed to be a revolution, a promise of greatness built on swagger and skill. But beneath the surface, it might just be a ticking time bomb, with the coach's own son holding the detonator. When Deion Coach Prime Sanders arrived in Boulder, Colorado, it felt like the dawn of a new era. To understand the magnitude of his arrival, you have to remember just how far the Colorado Buffaloes had fallen. The year before, they were a national punchline, finishing with a disastrous 1-11 record. The stadium was empty, the hope was gone, and the program was sinking into complete irrelevance. Then Prime arrived. He wasn't just a coach, he was a cultural phenomenon, promising to bring swagger, discipline, and national championships back to a place that desperately needed a savior. The media couldn't get enough. Documentaries were filmed, cameras followed his every move, and his speeches became instant viral sensations. He promised to build a winner, to forge a team of dominant, resilient players who would shock the world. For the players already on the roster, it felt like winning the lottery, a chance to be part of something legendary. For the fans, it was a dream come true. The hope was electric, a palpable force that swept through the entire state. But that dream was about to turn into a cold, hard nightmare for dozens of young athletes. And the man leading the charge wasn't just the coach, it was his own son. The first sign that this revolution would be a brutal one came almost immediately. In a team meeting that would go down in infamy, Deion Sanders stood before the players he inherited, young men who had bled for the university through its darkest times, and delivered a chilling message. He told them to get ready to leave, to jump into the transfer portal without a second thought. He famously declared he was bringing his own luggage, and it's Lewis. It was a ruthless public declaration of intent. There would be no tryouts, no chances to prove their worth. Their scholarships, their dreams of playing for Colorado, were being ripped away to make room for a new hand-picked roster. Over 50 players were pushed out in that first wave alone, an unprecedented purge that shattered NCAA records and sent shockwaves through college football. It was a cold, calculated business move that revealed the core philosophy of the new regime. The message was clear: your past loyalty meant nothing. Only talent that they personally approved of would survive. While the college football world debated the ethics of this historic roster flip, the real toxicity was just beginning to fester behind closed doors, waiting for a spark to ignite it. That spark came when former Colorado safety Xavier Smith finally decided to speak out. Smith, a player who had transferred in with high hopes, found himself on the outside looking in. In an interview, he revealed the devastating human cost of Coach Prime's methods, explaining how Deion had destroyed guys' confidence and never even bothered to get to know the players he was unceremoniously cutting. It was a raw, honest, and vulnerable look inside the program from a player who had been cast aside, but instead of ignoring it or taking the high road, Shedeur Sanders decided to go on a shockingly personal attack. He jumped on social media, the modern-day gladiator arena, and unleashed a stunning public assault. He responded directly to an article about Smith's comments, writing, "I don't even remember him, to be honest. Bro had to be very mid at best." The phrase "very mid" became an instant flashpoint. It wasn't just dismissive, it was deeply disrespectful, a public belittling of a former teammate's talent and character. Shedeur wasn't just defending his father, he was actively kicking a man who was already down, mocking him on a national stage for the world to see. This single act of digital cruelty exposed a darker side to the celebrated quarterback, and it was only the beginning. This wasn't just a one-time outburst born of frustration, it was the beginning of a disturbing pattern of behavior. As other former players and critics began to voice their concerns, Shedeur doubled down, seemingly embracing the role of the villain. When another former player, Cormani McLean, transferred out and made subtle comments about not wanting to play for clicks, Shedeur fired back publicly, questioning his character and work ethic. He engaged in public spats, belittling anyone who dared to question the program. He seemed to relish the conflict, once telling reporters he was playing for clicks, a statement that confirmed to many that he was more interested in generating online drama than leading a team. Analysts and fans started to connect the dots, painting a picture of a locker room culture built not on respect and unity, but on arrogance and fear. Whispers grew louder that Shedeur's attitude was creating a divide, where players felt they couldn't speak up without risking public humiliation from their own quarterback. He was no longer just a confident leader, he was becoming the face of a program that appeared to value trash talk over character, and his actions were becoming impossible to ignore. As the controversy raged, all eyes turned to Coach Prime. How would the leader of the program, the man in charge of nearly 100 young athletes, handle his star quarterback and son publicly attacking former players? Instead of trying to calm the storm, Shedeur Sanders grabbed a megaphone and joined the fray. He openly endorsed Shedeur's comments, reposting them and adding his own insults. He dismissed the departed players as quitters and malcontents who couldn't handle the pressure of his program. This was no longer just Shedeur's problem, it was a philosophy being broadcasted from the very top. The move shocked many in the sports world. Dion, the legendary primetime, had built his own career on flashy confidence, but he was now a coach, a mentor responsible for shaping young men. His public co-signing of the attacks felt like a massive conflict of interest. Was this a father's instinct to protect his son at all costs, or was it a head coach completely losing perspective and enabling a toxic culture? By siding so fiercely with Shedeur, Dion sent a clear message in the Sanders family: you're either with them or you're the enemy. And this us against the world mentality was beginning to look less like team building and more like a cult of personality spiraling out of control. While the drama makes for great headlines and viral clips, NFL front offices are watching with deep concern. In the multi-billion-dollar world of professional football, talent is only half the equation. Character, leadership, and the ability to be a good teammate are worth millions. A quarterback is the face of a franchise, the CEO of the offense, and no general manager wants to invest a top 10 draft pick and a guaranteed contract in a player who is a walking public relations disaster. Shedeur's on-field talent is undeniable, but his social media wars are a gigantic flashing red flag. Scouts are now asking serious questions. Is he coachable? Will he respect veteran players in an NFL locker room who won't be intimidated by his last name? Can he handle the intense scrutiny of the professional media without lashing out? Every tweet, every dismissive comment is being logged and analyzed as part of a comprehensive character evaluation. He's creating a portfolio of behavior that suggests he might be a locker room cancer, a supremely gifted athlete whose ego could tear a professional team apart. The very attitude that makes him a star in college could be the thing that makes him slide down the draft board, costing him millions and a chance at a legacy. Shedeur Sanders stands at a critical crossroads. He possesses the arm, the poise, and the bloodline to become an NFL legend. He has single-handedly made Colorado football a must-watch event every single Saturday, generating unprecedented revenue and attention for the university. But his greatest challenge won't come from a blitzing linebacker or a lockdown cornerback. It will come from within. The war he's waging online against his critics and former teammates is costing him more than just fans. It's costing him credibility and the respect of the very people who will one day decide his professional fate. The path to greatness is littered with the careers of talented players who let their own arrogance become their downfall. Now the entire football world is watching to see which path he will choose. Will Shedeur Sanders be remembered as the phenomenal quarterback who lifted a program from the ashes and redefined college football, or will he be a cautionary tale of a can't-miss prospect whose own pride became the one opponent he could never ever defeat? The answer is yet to be written, but the clock is ticking.